are Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar, giving you a raw take on movies, television, and pop culture. My name's Chris.
I'm Scott.
JB4.
And today is Sitting with My Pedro. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing, buddy?
Good. It's kind of odd hearing you say sitting with Pedro.
That's it.
Yeah. You should start a
I
show.
feel a little uncomfortable.
That's your show, right?
Is it my show?
Is it?
It's
just hashtag
it's going to be a coffee
right.
table book
Thinking.
first.
Well, we had you on a long time ago, man. So tell us what you've been up to, brother.
All right. Quite a bit, actually. Just wrapping up on a couple documentaries and doing post-production on them right now.
Cool, man.
And just recently, big news. I am officially the new partner for BIC Productions out of Disney Orlando.
No shit.
Which entails, all that entails is now we will have the first film distribution company in Louisiana.
That is
Congratulations.
fantastic, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. So lots of good things happening. Some people are like, oh, it's about time. And I'm like, oh, no, I kind of been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
It's just
Hey, it's about time.
well, thanks. Thank you.
What is BIC an acronym for anything?
It is.
It's not that little lighter I
Big
picked up.
Incentives Corporation.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, when I spoke to my partner and asked him, immediately I was like, "Oh, that's as in like Buena Vista International," and he's like, "No, I literally was sitting around trying to figure out a name, and I had a pen in my hand, and I thought it was funny. It's Big Productions," and I was like, and then he created the acronym after the Big, which is Broadcast International Corporation.
Okay.
Very cool, man.
Yeah. But he called
works.
it Bic first before he called it.
Yeah, it was a proxy that actually worked out.
A little small. So what we all, for the layman out there, what will you guys be doing?
We are actually going to be building our own studio here. Complex. Same way as, you have Second Line Stage, The Ranch, and all that. Not that we're competing with them, but we have our own projects, so we don't have time to... I literally have 6 lined up for the rest of this year, including 4 that need to immediately go into post-production and 10 feature films for next year. Along with
good God.
Along with the television shows that we're also going to be producing for BIC for Disney. They do all the, I wouldn't call it live action, but more daytime television, not the animated stuff.
Okay.
Is what BIC usually does. You've probably seen their logo if you have kids. It's with a B and the I and the C, and then the little ball pops up. And
I know the logo.
Yeah, that's who we are.
What products are they currently, or what shows are currently, is that logo appearing on?
Some of the daytime shows, I don't follow the Disney stuff.
Okay.
I've been a little bit too busy being an adult.
Okay. Scott?
So.
I couldn't pinpoint it off the bat because I don't know.
Okay.
It is
one of those where
logo,
you've seen
yeah,
it
it's
so many
definitely
times, I don't know.
Okay.
So can you say some things can you name anything?
Yeah, like some of
the
these
stuff that we're going to be working on.
some of
Yeah.
these feature films that are coming out,
or even TV shows.
My 4 partners are actually in Cannes right now, that are driving me absolutely bonkers because we keep in touch through WhatsApp, and we all know how bad that app is in the U.S. It keeps falling apart on us. But why
do people keep pushing that app? I've had a couple of
because
people
it's free and it's
free.
International, and you can literally use it anywhere in the world.
And everybody used it for so long, so Facebook picked it up, and nobody really left.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. But they're there now, and within a matter of a week, I know we've picked up 6 other projects.
Good Lord.
2 which were immediately emailed to me and said, here, we need a breakdown. Let's get this done. Now, there's another one we're starting in Italy on the 5th. Another one we're starting in Italy on the 12th. So all those are going to be running simultaneously. So it's a lot. It's a full-blown studio production company. So
Any names of shows?
Or is this classified information?
Well, the one that we'll be filming here, that's the first one that's going to be filmed here, it's called Eleanor and Constance. It's a psychological thriller. The name might change.
That doesn't sound like a Disney show.
No, not at all. No, because they do all the films they do are not. They're mostly independent films, but there's one that we're editing right now called My Little Baby. That's also a psychological thriller. They do a lot of stuff. It's not just the Disney stuff, but the Disney stuff is what kind of put them on the map here, because it's a bunch of Italian investors, filmmakers, a lot of people who've worked with Argento and
Oh, cool, man.
So that personally know him and work with him, and so it's pretty exciting.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you, man. I'm like, man, this guy has all the serious stuff going on, but yet he's a fucking nerd like we are. So
Yeah. You can't shake that.
that's it.
You
Yeah,
can't
you're right
shake
about that. You can't
at
shake
all.
it. Well, let's break the champagne bottle here, so to speak, for this week. Trailers. Let's talk about a couple of trailers. First of all, we had War for the Planet of the Apes. You guys saw it? Checked it out?
Oh yeah, saw it.
Looks good.
Looks
Yeah.
good.
Looks
Looks
damn
like
good.
it'll complete the trilogy.
I think so. Yeah, we talked about that last week. Yeah, I mean, it and even the producers have said that this is going to be kind of they're taking this as the approach of a trilogy. Now, will there be another trilogy that comes out after this? Will the apes turn into kind of How the West is Won? Because the Caesar that we see in the current movies is obviously not the Caesar that we see in the 1968 versions. It's his ancestor. So we're going to get kind of like different versions of that. We're going to get different stories down the ancestral line, so to speak. Are we going to get that?
Wasn't the one before that done here? That movie was done here.
The second one was
The
done.
second one was done here.
Yeah.
Were you involved in any of that?
Dude, that's so rude of you to think that I was one of those monkeys. That is so rude of you.
Totally ruining our political connections right out of the fucking gate.
God, I know people can't see us right now.
Scott, would
but
you like
Jesus.
to would you like to rephrase?
Let me rephrase that.
Rephrase that. Yeah.
So that movie that was shot down here, the second one. So Pedro, were you involved in that movie at all?
I helped with some locations, and that was about it.
Thanks. That's all I wanted to know.
Well, the director of that movie, which is a fellow by the name of Matt Reeves, he's going to be moving on to do the next Batman
Yes,
solo
he
feature.
is.
With
Yeah, I'm curious to what that's going to look like.
well, we're going to get into DC pretty heavy duty today. It's one of our show topics. So, but anyway, George R.R. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still on trailers. So Star Trek Discovery. Did you guys see that trailer?
Yes.
That was dropped a couple of days ago.
No, I thought it looked cool, but I'm just not excited about Star Trek. It looked good though.
And Doug Jones is in it, and I sort of kind of know Doug Jones, and I'm very excited. And I'll watch anything he's in. I watched Bye Bye Man, which was better than I thought it would be. But
Who's Doug going to be?
Doug's going to be in the Star Trek series.
He's
Nice.
playing the alien character. From what I saw in the trailer, the race that he's part of, like they have like this kind of like pheromone deal where they can sense different emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
And the makeup looks
Couldn't he
impeccable.
sense death? Is that what it is? Like, I sense death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like Deanna Troy, but with a lot of alien makeup on, which is Doug Jones's cross to bear 9 out of 10 times. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Such a
I'm
nice
gonna
guy.
Yeah, he's the sweetest. I'm gonna watch it because he's in it, and it's Star Trek. So I'll enroll. Yes.
CBS. It's
CBS
on CBS
online, so it'll be like
so you
$5
get
bucks a month
$5
or
a
whatever.
month. Correct.
I'll do it. I'll man up strictly for that. But
Also, there are commercials. Just
Yeah.
because you spend $5 doesn't mean
it's
you don't get
it's
commercials.
Hulu 5 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm not sold on it, and I wouldn't do it if it weren't for Doug Jones. So the jury's out, I guess.
It looks amazing. I mean, I'm not so much into the Star Trek mythos. I mean, I know the general stuff, but I've already seen the fans. They're already pissing and moaning that this is like more of a J.J. Abrams thing than it is the traditional Roddenberry Trek.
I like J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, Scott. I was a big fan for a long time, and it's just now I'm like, I'm over it. I don't know why. I'm just over it.
I guess it's good for what it is. TV.
Yeah.
I don't think it's J.J. Abrams enough. It actually looks more like Enterprise, which I didn't like all that much.
Yeah. I'll check it out. I mean, I think the pilot's going to show for free.
Okay.
regular-
Makes sense.
They're back. Look, man, the birds are back. Zippity doo dah, zippity. Well, I got to learn. I have to learn. What's her name song? I have to learn.
Moana?
No, I got to learn. I have to learn.
Cinderella.
Princess. No, Princess from Shrek. Fiona. I need to
Fiona,
learn
okay.
her little bird song. So when the
yeah.
birds start chirping, I can get it going.
Memorized.
Alrighty, so the last trailer was CW is hitting us with yet another superhero show. This is going to be Black Lightning. I watched that this morning. This is pretty much what I gather. They're not going with the typical like good-looking 20-something. The hero in this storyline, he's an older guy. It looks like if they took a tamed-down version of Luke Cage, combined it with the retirement angle of The Dark Knight Returns.
Or The Incredibles.
Yeah. It kind of looks more like that. But, I mean, I haven't seen Luke Cage yet, but
neither have I.
I saw the first trailer. The first trailer with when they have Wu-Tang, they have the Wu-Tang song playing in the background. This one here has Mumford & Sons sounding shit playing over the trailer. So good old WB cross marketing.
Yeah, Canada.
I mean,
they shoot in Canada, right?
Shit has to blow my socks off now when it comes to TV with superheroes because it is oversaturated. It's more oversaturated than the movies.
It would have been a lot more exciting like 3 or 4 years ago.
I think so.
But currently, it reeks of desperation in the sense of, what if we throw a superhero angle into fill in the blank?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I got enough.
I hate it.
Yeah?
I hate it.
Do you watch any of the CW shows?
Yes, I do, but I think this is CW's feeble attempt at blaxploitation, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Not to mention, that character, that superhero, that ability it's already been done in cartoons, and they could have easily taken it from Static Shock, which is actually well written.
Would you have been happier if they would have just stuck him in say Arrow, or stuck him on the Flash?
It would have worked a lot better, because now this is the whole let's do a whole black cast thing. Well, okay, that's great, but you have a retired superhero that turns into a principal that now, and his line is, I help more lives being a principal. And I was like, you guys CW is just at this point, they're reaching.
Well, it's a shame, because I don't think they need to reach. I think they're on the
I don't think so either,
track.
but even the costume they gave him is totally cheesed out.
Yeah, the costume looks like shit. And on top of it also is that what they're saying also is that they aren't tying this into their Arrowverse.
That's what I heard too.
So I mean, dude,
that's what they said about Supergirl. Multiverses.
Well, the multiverse thing, they could always play that angle, but
they're going to, because it's not going to do well.
Yeah.
So they're going to.
Oh, they'll just stick it inside of Legends.
Yeah, which is, by the way,
I could see. I was about to say Static Shock, but Black Lightning being put into that easily.
In Legends.
Yeah.
Amazingly enough, that show has gotten picked up for next season.
Yeah, I can't believe.
Amazingly is a good way to put that, because I've given it so many chances, because
it's terrible.
Why? After 2 chances, I went, this isn't. The bandwidth of great programming is so dense right now that you've got maybe 3 or 4 episodes to impress me, and if you fail abjectly. What
really bothers me about that whole show is Blart's. Blart reminds me of Gary Rucker on stage. I had to throw that in. You have a stage actor that's being a superhero amongst all these other actors, and Blart is that guy, is that character, and it's just every time you see him on screen, I'm expecting him to hold a skull out and start reciting.
The only thing that'll save Legends is bringing back Captain Cold. And
that won't even save it, because honestly, Captain Cold, I love that character so much. Like the guy who plays in the Wentworth Miller, I mean, he does such an excellent job of just being a snarky motherfucker.
Yeah.
And they put him on this piece of shit. The episode I gave up on was, did y'all see the George Lucas episode?
Yeah, it was terrible.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
it's terrible.
My God. Fucking horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible. And I can't believe it's that bad. Put it this way. They take scenes that they lift directly from A New Hope, implying that's where George Lucas got the influence to do the movie.
The trash scene.
They do the trash compactor scene.
Oh no!
What happens is their version of the League of Doom, which is Damien Dark, Black Arrow, Malcolm Merlin, and the speedster Eobard Thawne.
Reverse Flash.
Yeah, the Reverse Flash character. What they do is that they throw 3 of the heroes. I think they throw
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. They throw irrelevant into basically a car mashing machine, like a metal mashing machine. And they pick up the pole, the block, and brace the walls and everything and all that. And George Lucas is sitting there
on the CB or whatever.
The object of the show is to get George to remember to like science fiction so that he'll make Star Wars because he gives up. He
gives up because what happens is that he sees the legends, which they're supposed to be protectors of time. They come in and basically fucking trample it by shooting off laser weapons and like doing all this crazy shit. Well, George Lucas sees this occur and it scares him off from filmmaking. Yeah. So they have to re-inspire him so he can make Star Wars. Fucking terrible. Mm-hmm. All right, so we've moved past the CW bullshit. Yeah, I don't have much hope for Black Lightning. I agree with you. It's their sad attempt at blaxploitation, and I won't watch it. I'm not even curious about it. All right, on to the news. George R.R. Martin wants us to know that he doesn't like the word spin-off when referring to the upcoming spin-offs. He says that we should call them successor shows because the worlds that he's created are huge and there's stories to tell. Unlike Joey, Lou Grant, Aftermash, or any of those stories, they have different characters. They're just not transferring core characters from the core Game of Thrones show.
There's so much that they could put in those shows. They don't need to bring over the characters they have.
I just think it's silly when creators like want to create these specialized terms for themselves for their properties because their shit's more important.
Well, he also doesn't. That in his last book is actually a spin-off anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say he he doesn't like the word completion either. Apparently.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Maybe if he finished, maybe if he finished the book, then he'd either be more comfortable with the term or we'd play nice and say it's not a spin-off.
This is who's making that show. HBO. The end.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah. It's his little paragraph. It's HBO's show.
I'm just waiting for I'm waiting for these shows to come out so I can hear Scott come in and say it's Fear the Walking Dead, man. Fuck that show.
What do you do?
It might be.
It very well could be.
That show is terrible.
I don't know. And then HBO is realizing that everyone else is starting to set the bar a little bit higher.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Watch any? I don't want to go off on a tangent, but do any of y'all watch The Leftovers on HBO?
No, but apparently the last season is so astoundingly good that I'm
this last season on right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know who you talk to, and I'm not being a typical Scott. That show is batshit crazy. I don't know what the fuck it's about. It's terrible.
I tried to watch it. I feel you. I'm like, what is? Don't know. Is there a book? Can I follow this somehow? I don't know what the hell's.
And I've read your reviews. I've read your people's reviews about, it's so good. It's so good. I don't.
Your people.
I don't know where.
People's.
Whoever you read.
I have a vaster network than even I thought possible.
I don't get it.
Okay. Okay.
The first episode, I was like, "Is this a Mormon sci-fi?" I don't know what's going on.
I follow those pretentious fucks that you're friends with on Facebook.
I mean, everyone's going ape shit for the last season.
Please, apparently. Just watch it, and because I have to watch it now just to see how it ends because I'm.
Oh, you're
invested.
In it?
I'm invested.
Yeah. So you're that many seasons into it?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
So anyway,
he's Walking Dead invested.
I was just about to say, there's a hook, obviously, if you kept watching it.
Yeah, the hook is I watched it to see how the show would end because the book doesn't end. So I wanted to see how because it's HBO, they usually put out quality entertainment.
Yeah.
And this is just, if there were sharks to jump, they would have jumped them all. Numerous times.
Okay.
I told my little girl a story before she went to bed. I totally made it up. She fell asleep, but I had to keep on telling it to see how it ended. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
It sounds like Lost.
No, it's not Lost. Don't ever say that again.
Well, didn't the writers of Lost do it?
You.
The writers of Lost did The Leftover.
Yeah. Right. So that's why, anyway.
That's why you gave it a shot.
I watched like 4 episodes of the first season. I don't even remember it, but I do remember this. I remember that I didn't like it.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what it comes down to.
All right.
Continue. All right. Though it isn't in the top 5 of new baby names in America, the name Kylo has jumped from popularity from number 3,200 up to 900 in 2016. What? So if you want to name your kid after an emo Star Wars character, you've raised in the ranks. I mean, hell, up by like 2,000 spots. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Kylo.
So,
that's probably the same people who have a daughter that call her "Catch Me Outside."
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to go look that up and see what Cash Me Outside hits on the ranks.
I'm wondering if there's a 30-something walking around right now named Buckaroo.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is.
If there was a kid, if you have a kid in an alternate reality, that kid's fucking name is Buckaroo.
Earth 2.
Hey, by the way, alternate realities are going on right now.
Yes.
That's it, man.
It's been proven.
Call me Buckaroo.
There are other dimensions.
So, here's a report about Pedro's boss, Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney. One of his operating partners. All right, he's revealed that hackers have stolen one of their blockbusters and have threatened to release it unless ransom is paid in bitcoins. Iger hasn't revealed which movie it is, but sources are saying that it's Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's Pirates.
The irony.
It's Pirates.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, whatever. People are going to go see that film in the theater regardless.
I don't think as many people are going to see it as you think. I think that franchise is limping to the finish line, man.
I think people will see it regardless of the leak. Like if the movie was leaked tomorrow, I still think people would go see it in theater.
I think
because those people aren't the same people that are going to watch leaked movies.
I think some people will go to the theater and definitely see it, but I will tell you this. This is a movie that is ripe for download bait. Ripe for it. I don't think this franchise, like I said, is limping to the finish line. A lot of the critics are saying that this one is as entertaining. It's comparable to the first one. Not as good. Basically what they're saying is watch the first one, watch this one, forget everything in the middle.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think that this one is ripe. I mean, like if it's a streaming thing, and I mean you're an average person that doesn't give a fuck about the theater experience, and say Pirates, oh man, I would think about seeing that. Oh geez, I can just stream it to my Fire Stick or whatever. You know, I mean. Now I tell you, here's the one that I really have questions for though. What if they managed to do this to Star Wars? What if that happened? Do you think Disney would actually pay the ransom?
Yeah, that's a much bigger franchise to deal with. I mean, Star Wars is, they have their animated stuff. They have, I mean, that's something that Pirates should have done a long time ago. Is literally gone the Kung Fu Panda route. You know, like, hey, here's part 2, but it's video, it's animated, and then everybody will watch it, and then it'll just keep its following more than getting to the point where it is now, where people are just like, meh.
Is that the precedent? Like, is that where a studio actually gets the Fed in and says, y'all need to go step in and do something about this? Well,
yeah, they have the FBI involved.
I mean, for Pirates, but for Star Wars, I mean...
Oh, I think that they're going to send, like... They're going to go hire, like, fucking...
Like, is Jack Bauer going to get involved?
Oh, yeah, they're going to go get Navy SEAL assassins to take out whoever steals Star Wars.
So I don't think they pay, is what I'm saying.
I don't either.
But I think they would, but...
I think what you're probably going to end up seeing is even more security on the editing and post end. You know, I mean, that's where it's leaking from. You know what I'm saying? So
you know edit how in Argus.
You know how actors have been increasingly complaining about NDAs and like their scripts are color coded and they're only getting. I think the post situation is probably going to get on more extreme lockdown. That would be the easiest way to deal with it.
They're going to have to. I think I'm romanticizing more about what is the media fallout instead of, what actually pays. If Disney would actually pay the ransom to protect Star Wars.
Right.
But I tell you, people would not give a fuck. They'd watch that movie. That movie would stream its ass off.
I'll put it to you this way. I don't hear
it in the theater.
I don't hear people or even see people on Pirates of the Caribbean being put under the same scrutiny and don't say a fucking word scruples as Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars is sort of renowned at this point for being kind of like the
most protected. It's the most protected franchise in movie. I mean, even more so than Marvel, I think. So, and Marvel's got some pretty tight NDAs.
They do, but I also think that all their leaks are sort of pre-approved or at least anticipated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we're going to shoot this out in public and we don't need to have a whole lot of stuff up so people can take pictures. And I mean, you're the social media guy. What do you think, Scott?
I think I think those people, yeah, you're right. There are people that do that job.
Yeah.
Leak on purpose.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I want that job. I want that job.
New age marketing.
Oh, I would love to see Scott in that job. Scott would be Scott would sit there and have like, look, you do this, we're paying you this to do this. Yeah, dude, but spoilers. I mean, we shouldn't spoil this.
Yeah.
Look, motherfucker, it is not your job to think. It is your job to do.
Yeah.
But he would lead his own personal one-man crusade on no spoilers to the public. So
all Easter eggs, no spoilers.
That's it.
Right.
Artist. Oh, Jesus, speaking of Easter eggs.
Uh-oh.
I'll let it go.
No,
you already brought it up, so come on.
Got it now.
You just hit a nerve. The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh! What you got to say?
does Marvel have to do that now? Like,
yeah,
it's the point now where you literally just taking Easter eggs and putting a movie together. You're not putting a movie together.
Oh, so you think Guardians of the Galaxy is all just one big construction of an Easter egg?
Yeah, I think all Marvel movies are at that point now.
I think
they're all just Easter eggs to get to one big, and it just ruins it for me. And I'm like, oh, that's great. So Thanos,
yeah, well, I know, Pedro, we were talking about this earlier before we went on air. I mean, you're a comic book purist, and there's a lot of things, in particular Logan. We liked Logan. But Pedro said that he thought that it was a well-constructed story, but he said as far as it being something that he wanted to see, as far as something that glorifies the source material, he was left with wanting more. So,
yeah. I mean, definitely.
And that's fair.
And definitely, like, Logan wouldn't fall into that. It kind of is its own standalone movie, which I think they did a great job with it. All the Wolverines have been, because they don't go into that. Look who's sitting in the corner here, or look, what's that book he's reading? Like, there isn't that constant bombardment of like
Easter eggs.
The Marvel universe is jammed down your throat.
I'll devil's advocate you and say that if the movie was good enough, you wouldn't need all the little Easter eggs to appease the fans.
Exactly.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. Fair enough. So, hey, look, the Ginger, Counselor Ginger, good job, man. That's it.
There you go.
End scene.
Hey, you got us back on track. All right, artist Ian McCaig reveals part of the original script of Revenge of the Sith and how Padme was going to kill Anakin Skywalker. He says Anakin leaves. Moments later, in come the Separatists, and right behind his back, Padme is starting a rebellion to overthrow him because Padme can see that he's becoming a monster. It's Apocalypse Now, right? At the end, Mustafar, when she goes to see Anakin, she has a knife in her hands. She gets off of that ship with the knife. She runs up and throws her arms around him, and he lets her. She's got the knife at his neck, and she's going to kill him. He lets her, and she can't do it. She loves him too much to stop, even when he becomes the monster. Enter Obi-Wan. Anakin freaks out, kills Padme. Well, almost. Wouldn't that have been good? That original trilogy, that prequel trilogy, was sown with so many bad seeds. I don't think really anything could have saved it. I mean,
it would have. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million would have been cool moments, but the thing with it is that if would have been cool is laid on a foundation of shit, I mean, it really makes no difference.
If you throw a bunch of turds in guacamole and then say, "Wouldn't if that apple cider vinegar just made a difference?" It's like, I mean, it would have made it taste different, sure.
Well, there goes guacamole.
Yes.
All right, James Gunn revealed that he originally wanted Stan Lee's Iatu the Watcher scene to reference the time he was a DJ in a strip club instead of the FedEx delivery person. This would have indirectly connected the MCU to Fox's Marvel Universe, since Lee was the DJ in Deadpool.
That would have been great.
Yeah, James Gunn said he wanted to do that, and he said he said he would have loved to have done it, but he said, I know that would have got squashed as soon as we went to post, but he said if I could have had my way, I would have totally did it.
I still think that's his best cameo.
It really is.
I laughed my ass off.
Oh yeah. The
DJ?
The DJ was great. Yeah, that was really funny. And second to that one, I don't know, I really like the Hugh Hefner one from Iron Man 2. I thought that one was pretty funny. It was just kind of an out of nowhere thing. He turns around, I'm like, holy shit, it's Stan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really funny.
Oddly enough, that's the only thing I liked about Guardians. It was that cameo.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the Iatu.
Wow.
Iatu the Watcher is I thought that was a good role for him. And James Gunn said that that's been a fan theory for years, but he's the guy who sold that and solidified it.
Yeah.
Soul Feige.
Well, that's like one of the crown jewel Easter eggs, ironically.
Yep.
And that's definitely not necessary to
That's
the plot.
What started this scene is what started the whole Easter egg spoiler thing. And I told Scott, I said, did you hear about the Easter egg? He's like, well, I don't have a problem with Easter eggs. I said, well, here's the Easter egg. He says, asshole, that's a fucking spoiler. So that's where all that shit started. All right. Since we do talk about pop culture, we talked about it last week. Roseanne will officially return for 8 episodes in 2018.
Okay.
I think in the current social and political climate in this country, I think it's pretty good to bring back what was at least 5 or 6 well-written seasons of television to bring back a blue-collar family and give their take on the current state of America. They said that the whole thing with John Goodman's character dying, which he died in the last in the series finale of the 9th season, they said that they're just going to tool it and write it to where he didn't die. Even that was bullshit, because it was bullshit to begin with.
You realize that all this crazy stuff is happening in the last season, and you find out in the last episode that it never happened. It's her writing like her memoir or stuff down, and you find out the reason she's writing this stuff is because John Goodman died in the previous season.
Right.
And so this whole season is based on her
fantasy.
Her fantasy.
Yeah, her fantasy. The way she describes it is, if I remember correctly, it kind of felt like she lost total control after Dan died, and this was her way to control things, was basically rewrite her own history.
Honestly, I don't care. Just bring him. You bring the show back, tell jokes, do like what Chris said, comment on whatever, and it'll be good.
I always loved Dan Connor. I thought Dan Connor was one of the top 5 television dads of all time, and I loved him in that role.
They're bringing back both Beckys as well. The original Becky is going to be the original Becky.
Lacey Goranson and Sarah Chalk. Now, they said that Goranson's going to play Becky, but they said they're having a different role for Sarah Chalk.
Correct.
She's going to play an entirely different character.
Right, so there'll probably be some Easter eggs, so to speak, and her...
I hope there's like a fucked up Jacob's Ladder kind of thing where Roseanne's dying and just has all kinds of freaked out hallucinations.
They'll definitely in-joke a lot of shit. And they've done that before in the show previously when there was the trade-off between the two actresses.
Yes.
Also, Galecki's going to come off of Big Bang, and he's going to reprise his role in it as well.
Yeah, they're all coming back.
They got everybody. I mean, the only person they won't have back is the guy who played Becky's husband, Mark. He died from a heroin overdose shortly after the show had ended. So I don't know if they're going to recast it or if they're going to write him out of the show. I have no idea. Mm-hmm. But yeah, one of my favorite moments from that show, really quickly, is that when they found out that Roseanne's sister, Jackie, is being abused by her boyfriend, and she comes in and she's basically saying that her boyfriend was beating on her and all that shit and everything, and Roseanne says, look, go ahead and sit down and let me figure out a way to deal with it. So while they're sitting there, they walk off camera, and Dan's in the kitchen, and he stands up and grabs his coat and his hat, and he walks out of the door, and you got the holy shit from the live audience, because they knew Dan was going to beat the fuck out of him. So that's one of my favorite Dan Connor moments. But moving on to the next one. Last week, after confirming the Fantastic Four rights still sit over at Fox, Kevin Feige talks about his desire to return all the Marvel characters back to Disney. My goal is to replicate the experience that comic book fans have been reading, reading the books up on screen, and we've been able to accomplish that beyond my wildest dreams over the last 10 years, and certainly including Spidey in Captain America Civil War, and the upcoming Avengers Infinity War is yet another dream that I didn't even dare to talk about publicly because I thought the odds of it were very slim. Still no plans beyond that for a few remaining characters that aren't already in the MCU, but never say never. Who knows what happens in the future? And he's right. I'm the guy who said Spider-Man will never return to the cinematic universe. John called it. Hey, I mean, anything can happen, you know? So, I don't know. I think as long as Fox keeps on churning out reliable movies that justify them continuing to make movies, X-Men isn't going back to the MCU anytime soon. You might even see them more likely get involved in a co-op deal like Spider-Man did with Sony.
That's the way it's going to have to work. I mean, their fingerprints are all over it with the TV properties alone, you know? Legion or whatever the
I read an article about Jackman saying that would be the only way he would come back as Wolverine to be in an Avengers film.
Yeah.
So...
And there's a second Avengers film. They could work him in, even if it's just a 10-second Easter egg.
Well, and for all we know, they keep on.
It's like nails on a.
But even if they come in,
that's why I enjoyed Legion. There was none of that shit.
Yeah, right.
Feige might be rope-a-doping you with this whole conversation because he said that after the fourth Avengers movie in May of 2019, 2 years from now, everything is going to change. Now they've been working closer and closer with Fox for television properties and things like that, and relinquishing a lot of control. Maybe Fox is going to play ball with them in the next couple of years. You might see Dark Phoenix and all this other stuff coming out, And this might kind of be a way to where they want to kind of wrap up their current storyline to where everything could kind of become this mega partnership in 2020. I mean, it could happen. Could happen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even sure who's doing Cloak and Dagger here.
Oh, it's some little network.
Cloak and Dagger's on Freeform.
It's already
which is,
shot. They shot it here.
Yeah, it's coming on Freeform, which is formerly known as ABC Family. Okay. So it's been rebranded, and that's going to be kind of one of the signature shows. And another one they're coming out with is they're doing New Warriors with Squirrel Girl in the lead, and that's going to be on that network as well.
On that network as well?
It's going to be a 30-minute comedy sketch type. Well, not comedy sketch, but they say it's going to be a 30-minute comedy show, which is really sad. I think Squirrel Girl should have hit it to the screen personally. Anna Kendrick came out and said, "I want to do it," and she would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But all is well, is what it is. For its 13th season, Supernatural announces that it will include an animated episode and will do a crossover with Scooby-Doo. So
why not? I mean,
they both own the properties, and Supernatural is kind of maybe a harder edge version of Scooby-Doo. So why not do it? I think it'd be fun. I mean, if we can watch Buffy the Vampire and Flash and Supergirl like fucking sing, why can't we see Scooby-Doo in an animated version of the show?
I'm in.
I'm totally cool with that. X-Men producer Hutch Parker, boy, is that a fucking name. Hutch Parker was asked about the idea of recasting Wolverine. It's a great question. Look, I think for all of us at this moment, and for some of us, it goes back to the very first time Hugh put on the costume. The idea of casting someone else as Wolverine is just not something I can think about, and I don't know. There's part of me that thinks he's done such a brilliant job and is so iconic in that part that we should leave it alone. And yet, I know there's always a possibility that either we find a story or a situation comes along where you think, okay, maybe we should consider that. But at the moment, we're kind of leaving it alone. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I remember how much everybody, when they first picked Hugh, was like, hell no.
Yeah.
But he's grown on everybody.
Yes, he has.
He's done a great job. I still don't think he should be Wolverine, but he's grown on it. He's definitely done a good job for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's not a 5'2" Canadian.
Right.
That's...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of backlash. There was as much, like, Michael Keaton, Heath Ledger backlash of him playing Wolverine. And I think I think that Pedro hit the nail on the head. I think he's grown on people. He's done an admirable job playing the character. Me personally, man, if I could go back and cast Wolverine somebody new, I'd go with Tom Hardy. I think he'd be fucking great. I mean, I know that seems to be my go-to.
He's Venom now.
Segue into Venom.
Yeah, right, yeah. And segue into Venom, yeah. He's now cast as Venom, and they're getting Rupert Fleischer that directed Zombieland. He's going to direct this movie.
He's a good director, I mean.
And they're going with the rated R thing, too, so...
I mean,
I just don't see how you make a Venom movie without Spider-Man.
Without Spider-Man, exactly. That to me makes.
And if this is Sony's master plan to have their own shared universe, you can't not have Spider-Man in any of these films.
It's like having a standalone Joker movie with no Batman in it at all. It's to be like, okay.
I don't understand this whole backdooring storylines through villains.
Yeah.
It's like. I get Tom Hardy's a big name, and I'm sure you'll kill it, but where's Spider-Man? Like, what's the whole point?
Yeah, I don't really see. I think that Sony should probably sit there and be patient with Marvel and say, look, we want to spin off some stuff and kind of do the same thing. I know you guys are working in Spider-Man into your storyline. Let's make some room to where we can use Tom Holland to play Spider-Man, plug into the storyline, and then we can launch a Venom. We can launch Black Cat. We can launch Silver Sable. We can do all those characters.
Do they have a release date on this Venom film?
I think it's October of 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Next year.
Yeah. But I mean, in these days, man, 18 months. I mean, you can put together a formula fucking movie quick. Yeah. I mean, and even include reshoots, which is going to be a big part of our topic today.
Okay.
Right back to Wolverine. Rumors have been swirling that an X-23 movie could be in the works on the heels of Logan. Director James Mangold spoke about it at the premiere of Logan Black and White. He said the only way the movie would work is if you made an honest film about young people growing up. Honestly, as much as I loved X-23, I like her in that story. I don't really want to see a spin-off of that series. I just don't.
You don't think a movie with her in it would be good?
I think anything can be good with good writing, but I think on its surface, if you just lay it in front of me and say, what do you think, I don't really think much of it. Yeah, it's just my opinion.
I'd have to agree with you too, because even the X-23 storyline in the Marvel Universe was weak to start off with. So you would completely have to do its own standalone rewrite.
Well, what if it were sort of a sequel to Logan, in the sense that we use the same character and the same actress, and we move forward with her storyline?
I mean, that's
what I'm saying. You would literally have to write a storyline because there is no storyline.
Point. Yeah. But what I'm saying is we don't need an origin anymore, because we have semi her origin. We just go forward. I think her and a bunch of kids.
It's like I told you. I think anything can be done well with proper writing. But if you just throw that idea at me and just pitch it to me, and I'm just like sitting there hanging out and shit, I'm like, I mean, I thought I love Logan. I thought it was a great movie. I think it's as far as the superhero shit, I think it's right up there with Dark Knight, and I think it's right up there with Captain America: Winter Soldier. It's got great topic info. It's good. I just don't need to see an R-rated or PG-13 John Hughes movie. I mean, I just don't need to see it.
It would fall in line to what was the spin-off for the character from Daredevil that had her own.
Yeah,
Elektra.
Elektra.
And it just went, and it just kind of fell apart. Because that was her storyline too. It was just not. It wasn't an established storyline. So the minute you put it out there, people were like, "Okay, hot chick kicking ass." That's about it.
Yeah.
And this is going to be like cute kid, good actor. What else?
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. But hey, look, man, if they roll through with it and they put a quality movie together, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I'll go see. But that's all I'm saying. On the surface, it doesn't really interest me too much. All right, Netflix has announced that they are bringing back The Dark Crystal with Jim Henson's Creature Shop and original concept designer Brian Froud. It is a prequel that will be called The Age of Resistance. Now it's time. To get unpopular and shit on everybody's dreams. I think The Dark Crystal is fucking overrated. I think.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
Conceptually, like you look at the artwork and the puppetry and all of that stuff, it is fucking amazing. But dude, flat story with very unemotional characters.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as it being an achievement in puppetry, one of the best movies ever made.
Right.
But as far as looking at it as it is for a movie, flat and uninspiring.
I mean, I look at it as Labyrinth 1.0, right? Like they were. Labyrinth is the one that everybody glommed onto. I didn't like either movies.
Yeah.
Because the Muppets, I just couldn't. I was so used to looking at the Muppets in a comic framework that watching Swords and Sorcery with puppets, I just wasn't engaged. I was like, they're puppets.
I like the Muppet dog that rode the real dog. That's the only thing that I like from Labyrinth. Other than that, I don't give a fuck about anything else, because I liked him because he was an uppity Englishman. That was funny. Yeah. Other than that, like all the other shit, like
funny works is with Muppets, but drama not. It didn't work for me.
Let me use.
I was a big Muppets fan, so this was definitely something for puppets and any live action puppeteering that to me was like groundbreaking. You're absolutely right about the story. I don't think it can really do anything for it with a prequel at all.
The story is as lifeless as the eyes of the Gelflings, dude. That's pretty much it. It really is true.
Yeah.
I watched it a couple of years ago. I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's like watching the Super Friends again. I watched the Super Friends. I'm like, I thought this shit was fucking awesome when I was a kid. This is horrible. I mean, it's Superman, Batman, Green Lantern. Their challenge of the Super Friends is kind of the shit. But the original Super Friends with like the 5 core, like Wendy,
Gleek,
no, not even Gleek, like Wendy, original. Marvin, like rough years of Super Friends. It's dog shit. And when I watched The Dark Crystal, I was like, ugh, yeah, God, this is boring. So.
And we all had never-ending story that made it better for us. So
correct, sir.
Falcor. So back to your Labyrinth comment. How do y'all feel about this Johnny Depp possibly doing the remake?
They're remaking that? Leave it alone.
Just came out this week.
Remaking it? Or I had heard banter that there'd be a sequel, but I don't know. I mean, I guess if you had to remake it, Johnny Depp would be in my top 5. Like, hold your nose and pick someone.
Yeah, I mean, it's Bowie, and the movie will always have it'll have its imaginary dick sucked because Bowie is the Goblin King, and I think you should just let it go with that.
I'll equate. I'm not saying they're on par and level, but I'll equate this to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Willy Wonka, in the sense that Willy Wonka was this weird, odd movies, musical, singing.
Commercial.
And Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was just a movie. It wasn't the magical thing we were used to, and I feel like this is going to be the same thing.
Right.
The reboot's just going to be a movie, not the magic that we were inspired by.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Scott.
It should be left alone.
Yes.
All right, Antoine Fuqua has left the Scarface remake, and there's interest to replace him with David Ayer. David Ayer directed Suicide Squad, which I'm sure we all collectively thought was fucking terrible. I know the three of us did. I'm sure I'm really not taking
I'm still searching for the porn parody.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's that bad.
The Guardians of the Galaxy one's fucking great, by the way. The porn
Compared
parody
to
of
that?
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it's great. It's fucking hilarious. But the Suicide Squad, man. I mean, look, I can't really bust Ayer's balls because, man, he made Fury, and that movie's the shit. So maybe this is, maybe he'll get to redeem himself with this one.
Well, I mean, David Ayer made some good movies prior to that, though, right?
Dude, he did Fury, and he did and he also did Attack on Precinct 13, which is fucking awesome. I mean, it's just good action movies. They're intense.
Yep.
They're good. I mean, right? I think so far it's the Coen brothers, I think, that are writing and producing the Scarface remake.
Right.
Yeah, and they had Antoine Fuqua on to direct, and they had Diego Luna, who played Cassian Andor in Rogue One. He was going to play Tony Montana, and instead of doing it as Cuba, they were going to make it as a Mexican family. Okay. Which, I mean, is relevant to the remake, I mean, the remake of Scarface.
The remake of a remake.
Yeah, it's a remake of a remake. Why not remake it again and that with its own social commentary?
All you need to say is Coen Brothers, and I'll pay attention.
Yeah, I just think that Ayer's an interesting choice for them. Antoine Fuqua I totally get, but, I mean, I guess it's as good as any. I mean, what the fuck do I know about directing movies, So, we'll just see if Diego Luna decides to stay on. All right, Universal is kicking off its Monster Universe with The Mummy next month, and rumors are flying that one of the next upcoming movies in the series will be Frankenstein, with Javier Bardem starring as the monster.
Okay.
Javier Bardem.
That seems so
cliche?
Yeah, it does seem very cliche.
Yeah, I mean...
All right.
Dude, I want the monster shit to, fly so well, because I loved that stuff when I was a kid, man. I mean, the black and whites, I'd like to see it win, but... I don't know. They're saying that this Tom Hanks movie is probably only Tom Cruise movie is only expecting to maybe drag about $40 million worldwide on its opening weekend, and that's kind of extremely.
What's it going up against?
That's low for him. I'm not exactly sure.
When's it come out?
It comes out in June, and so I mean, I think it's June 16th. So I mean,
it's fresh off of Wonder Woman, but right before Transformers and whatnot.
Yeah,
right
before Transformers. And I mean, if Wonder Woman ends up having legs, I mean. You never know. I mean, it could keep on going, and if it just rolls, because I think Wonder Woman might be a thing where people are kind of holding back to see what people say about it.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my pink hat to the premiere, man.
I think
I'm in, dude. Fuck, I
think
can't
that
wait.
Mummy movie. I think that Mummy movie will do all right. I think Tom Cruise will carry it, and it's the Mummy. It's a summer blockbuster.
I mean, how are they? Are they going with classic? I mean, how are they handling this? Because you have stuff like Penny Dreadful that's out there that's flipped all these monster stories on their heads.
Yeah, right.
So how are people going to accept this?
I don't know.
Now that there's already all these different outlooks on what a mummy or what Frankenstein is or what, the Devil's Bride is, how are they going to approach that?
Well, remember, anything can be good with good writing and good prep and all that stuff, and you never know. They might have this. One thing I will say in those trailers, they got some genuinely creepy-ass scenes in that trailer. Man, the swimming zombies was, frightening. I was like, holy fuck. When he's swimming in that sewer grate and he's got the zombies, swimming after him, I was like, dude, that's fucking crazy.
I think what'll save this movie is if they continue on this monster. If people know that we're working towards something, I think it'll help it out. If they do Dracula was 8 years ago and the Mummy is now and Frankenstein will be another 5 years... Forget it.
They got to pick up the pace.
Right. My favorite piece of news from this week: Twin Peaks returns, leaving many wondering where the show will pick up. Creator David Lynch weighs in on the second season of the show that aired back in the 90s. I'm extremely proud of the season 2 premiere. The rest of it sucked. Dude, I love Lynch. I listened to Babylon with Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman, and Garman impersonates him from here and now. Every now and again, he impersonates David Lynch. And his Lynch impersonation is the screaming FBI director in the airport from the Fire Walk With Me movie.
Oh, nice.
It's so funny. It's hilarious. I'm looking forward to Twin Peaks, man. It's been many, many years since I've seen the show.
I got to rewatch it.
Yeah,
it's been
me
so
too.
long.
It's been a long time. But yeah, I want to rewatch it before I dive into this. It definitely has me intrigued. So, Twin Peaks?
Oh, yeah. I'm in.
You're in on Twin Peaks?
Yeah.
Twin Peaks?
Yeah. Yep.
Alrighty. Last piece of news. Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell, lead singer of Soundgarden.
He was in Singles, too.
Yes, he was in Singles. I just wanted to say a couple of words about him. I mean, it's in the realm of music, which is something I don't think we cover enough on the show sometimes, because Scott and I are musicians, and
you're highly opinionated.
I mean,
we're highly opinionated.
Yeah. This is the only thing I can say about Chris Cornell. It's amazing, like all of these different artists that come by the while, whether it's Prince or Chris Cornell or David Bowie. Somebody who most people never have the pleasure of meeting, but they have such influence in your lives. And what always impressed me about this guy, how many times can one human being catch lightning in a bottle? I mean, it's crazy, man. He's a multi-platinum selling artist for Soundgarden. He does the same thing with Temple of the Dog. He does the same thing with Audio Slave. Then on top of that, he's got his solo stuff, which those sales have broken over 1 million records in sales. I mean, dude, it's what a career, man. And I mean, they're saying now that it might be an overdose on his antidepressants. That is what was ultimately his undoing. I mean, that's sad, man.
But yeah, based on everything, I've been a Cornell fan like most people my age. It's hard not to just be absolutely floored by that voice, but I remember being particularly shocked by it because I know he had been through rehab, and he had stricken a particularly upbeat. He had a family, he'd moved.
Yeah,
like he had a pretty upbeat outlook on life. And I'm on Adderall, which is a totally different drug. But when you take something daily, it's easy to forget whether or not you've taken one, which is apparently what happened with him.
He was on Ativan.
He was on Ativan,
yeah,
which can prompt suicidal thought. And apparently people were saying in that concert there was a point at which things turned for the worse in him in terms of just vibe and the way he was engaging the rest of the band. And I don't consider this a suicide. I consider it an accidental overdose, based on what I've read, which is really shitty.
Yeah, it's really sad, man. I mean, you listen to all the stuff, especially of accounts to where his wife, that basically her account, I mean, to me was pretty telling.
Yes.
She said she had talked to him earlier. She had talked to him directly after the show, and he even told her, I was kind of feeling a little off, so I actually took more of the medicine, to try to get things. Well, that might have turned... And, and he had an episode, and it's really sad, man. What a loss. I mean, that guy, guarantee you, top 3 of his generation, probably top 10 of all time in rock and roll vocals. I mean, 4-octave range, I mean...
Easily.
And look, fuck the stuff I've mentioned. Go look at the cover songs that this dude... Go look up his version of Ave Maria. Go look up Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. Mm-hmm. Go look up his Dolly Parton, I Will Always Love You, the Bodyguard tune that Whitney Houston covered. Go look at that dude sing those songs. What a fucking talent, man. I mean, just really, really unfortunate. So, but yes, R.I.P. Chris Cornell, you will be missed.
Yeah.
You are listening to Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar.
Television.
Movies.
Pop culture.
Keep up with the latest news from Luke Skywalker all the way to Batman.
From Netflix to the CW.
And all the news in between.
Please subscribe and rate us on iTunes.
Or stream our episodes from PPVGuys.com.
You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at PPVGuys.
Check out our friends Not Real Radio at NotRealRadio.com for our segment Not Real Movie News.
Should you listen to more?
Yes.
Will you agree?
Maybe. Jury's out.
Indeed.
Thank you for listening.
And action. All right, so we're going to talk about our show topic today, the tale of the two versions of Justice League. So now the news is coming out that Warner Brothers is so dissatisfied with the version of Justice League that's been filmed by Zack Snyder. They've ordered extensive reshoots, and by the time it's done, there's going to be two versions of the movie on which they're going to decide which one to release.
This movie's coming out in like November on my birthday, actually.
This movie comes out this November, and this news is coming out.
Wow.
So, dude...
Do you think that they've already started this? I mean, you know how news is. It's one of those things
where... Well, they deny it. They deny it. But I think that when it comes to these kind of reports, there is always level of truth to them.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, look at Rogue One. We were saying the same thing about them. They're like, they've ordered extensive reshoots for Rogue One, and this was like on the ass of this thing coming out.
And I remember your comments to that is... There are reshoots in every movie.
There are reshoots in every movie, but the thing with it is that normally reshoots are dealt with tweaking purposes. They're saying this thing is they don't like how like either the middle or the third act of this thing's turned out. Mm-hmm. So they want to basically not go, they want to reshoot it as in reshoot the whole fucking thing.
I just find it weird, or I find it very coincidental that Wonder Woman seems to be getting
positive buzz.
Positive reviews based on what that movie has done inside that movie, and I'm wondering if they're looking at that and going, well, if people like this, maybe we should have had this.
That's exactly what's going on. They sat there and they said, well, wait a minute, hold on, we put is it Catherine Bigelow that directed
Patty Jenkins
that directed Wonder Woman. So they look at what Patty Jenkins has done, and they sat there and they said, wow, this movie's the shit.
Yeah.
Why did we let this fucking asshole get involved in this bullshit?
Yep.
And that's what this is. Yo, God, Zack Snyder, man, he's a God. What a.
Well, I mean, we say we bash the executives as if they're just these like vacuous, clueless people, but it's close enough to the heels of Batman versus Superman that they see a trend. You know what I'm saying? They probably watched Justice League and said...
trend after Batman versus Superman? If so many people hated that movie, shouldn't it have gone, well, if so many people didn't like this movie, maybe we shouldn't do it again.
Right.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, but that's the thing, though. It
was a contract.
It is driven by making money. And the thing with it is that when you own the top 3 superheroes in the history of comic books, you have to find something that drives that property to make money. If you think about how fucking crazy this is, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is on track to outgross Batman versus Superman. A baby fucking tree and a talking raccoon are going to outgross Batman and Superman. How the fuck does that happen?
Easter eggs.
Well played.
Put Zack Snyder in charge.
Oh yeah, he doesn't like Easter eggs.
No, what he likes is John hit the nail on the head. What he likes is that he likes taking the top visual moments of popular comic book stories and then sewing them together with a bunch of interconnecting tissue that's fucking horrible. Yeah. That's what his game is. No, but he likes Easter eggs too. If you go watch Man of Steel, they got Easter eggs all over the place.
Yep.
He likes that shit also.
I don't think he put them in there. I think that was the executives. Because they already don't like Zach. They're like, dude, you fucked up the story. Hold on, we're going to put this in there, and this in there, and this in there.
You know what'll solve it?
Save a bad movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now they're talking, and this is really where I'm curious. We kind of touched on it a little bit last week when we were talking about Wonder Woman. Even more now, we got one critical review of Wonder Woman that we talked about. Well, now they're all coming in. And people are saying they're comparing it to Richard Donner's version of Superman. They're also saying that DC was looking for hearts, heroic, and humor. They say that is every bit in here.
Well, that's to be fair, Patty Jenkins cited that as a major influence, and that especially the alley scene, where he's got her behind him, and she puts her bracelet. That's literally an homage to the same scene in Superman. Donner's Superman.
Here's another piece of another piece of info that she leaked also about influence. She said that another big influence for Wonder Woman was The Little Mermaid. Disney.
That makes sense.
Yeah. She said the reason why I was influenced by the movie is because Ariel is a character that kind of wants to be part of everything else happening in the world instead of being trapped back in her own, under the sea with her pals. So she said that was a very big influence for me to make Wonder Woman. And it's kind of interesting to hear those kind of influences, things that are more brighter and more optimistic and less cynical.
Yes.
Instead of saying that, you wish Batman would get raped in prison, So, Jesus. But my whole thing
it's not
with
even
it is
a joke. It's for real.
The thing with it is that does Wonder Woman have the power to kind of right the ship, so to speak? Is it currency that's laid down that kind of sits there and tells the audience, well, Wonder Woman was really good, even though Justice League sucked.
Not Justice League, Batman.
No, Justice League. The upcoming Justice League movie, let's say that comes out and it crashes and burns like Batman versus Superman did. I'm putting my money on that it is. When the crowd comes out and says, well, Wonder Woman was good, God, Justice League, they just can't seem to get it right. Is Wonder Woman going to lay enough currency on the table to have people buy in?
I bet you that that's the discussion that prompted these reshoots.
Probably.
Wait, you mean to buy into what, future DC movies?
Yeah, to buy into future DC movies.
I think let's just say Wonder Woman does well. Lay it on the table. Mm-hmm. Let's say Justice League sucks. The next movie we'll see is not going to be Batman. It's not going to be Man of Steel 2. It's going to be Wonder Woman.
No. Zack Snyder already came out. He was at the Shanghai premiere with Jeff Johns, and he said, they asked him, is there going to be another Wonder Woman 2? He said, there will be a sequel to Wonder Woman, but the next female superhero movie that will come out for DC is going to be Joss Whedon's Batgirl, and I believe him. Whedon is the... Whedon brings the shit, man.
I feel like the Wonder Woman money may change their mind.
I don't know.
Well, you guys are missing a perspective here that obviously we're all missing it. But Wonder Woman is going to do well regardless because they're literally opening the door and creating a whole new perspective on female heroes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a female fan base that's going to blow it completely out of the water. So for them to go to Batgirl after that is a fucking joke. Batgirl is not considered. I mean, was it the animated series that just came out? The animated film that just came out that made her look like garbage. It's that character is going to be rewritten over and over again before they do a final film. Especially if Wonder Woman does well and they realize that the female fan base is behind it, they're going to have to rewrite Batgirl. I honestly think it'll be a Wonder Woman 2 before there's a Batgirl.
But here's the question, though. We don't know, because it's like anything else. When everybody sits there and says, who is the better Joker? Is it Heath Ledger or is it Jack Nicholson? Well, those actors play two totally different versions of that character.
Right.
I think the question with it is that what version of Batgirl has enticed Joss Whedon to want to do this movie? Now, if he does Batgirl from the Batman animated series, I'm all in.
Yeah, well,
I'm totally in.
Joss Whedon is sort of one of like the star pupils of the Bechdel test or whatever. Like Buffy was his crown jewel for the longest time, and he's been very feminist.
Well, he's good at writing female characters. Yeah. I mean, look at River Tam from Firefly. That character was fucking awesome. Yeah. And I mean...
Well, I mean, they're also... DC's following their trends based on... When they launched 3 years ago, they launched their DC Girl Heroes.
Uh-huh.
And it's nothing but all the female heroes and some of the villains as heroes. And they're basing what they're going forward with on who's following what character the most.
Was it good?
And
DC Supergirl?
That character, the Batgirl in that, is a completely different Batgirl. So yeah, it also depends on who it is.
Yeah, it depends on what Joss Whedon.
It's an online series. It's not like on a channel anywhere. I can't remember.
It's on. It's probably on CW Seed is probably what it's on.
DC Superhero Girls?
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
Superhero Girls.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We watched that.
Mm-hmm.
Or does that come on Cartoon Network?
Where are we watching it at?
It's not on Cartoon Network.
There were some episodes on Netflix that we saw. There was a movie.
Okay.
There was a little movie. Yeah.
Maybe...
Well, I mean, that's
regardless.
But that's the other thing, too, is, I mean, it might not be
my
true.
My kid loves that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, little 5-year-old, she's seen it, and what cracks me up with her is I say, hey, let's watch Supergirl. So I put on the Supergirl hero show, the little animated one. Mm-hmm. She looks at it and she says, this isn't the real Supergirl. I want to see the CW one. So, it's pretty funny. But But yeah, I mean, that's what Snyder says. You know, I mean, as far as that's concerned, it could go any way. You never know. But I mean,
again, we just literally took the giant heaping pile of shit on Snyder, and then he comes out and says, Snyder says, "Hey, this is what we're doing."
He's still a producer, dude. Right. He is still a producer.
Yep. He's a producer who we just said they're redoing his entire film. How much? How much weight does he hold?
He probably holds some. I mean,
well, I mean, this is the danger of long-term contracts. You sign a shitty quarterback, and he, busts his shoulder the first month of playing. You still got to pay him.
You know? I mean, who knows what percentage he owns on the characters as well, which he possibly could.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
Well, we're talking Christopher Reeves kind of ownership shit.
Well, that's their bed to make.
Yeah.
What baffles me is why, like, when Transformers went to Michael Bay, I was like, I get it, but I don't understand why Zack Snyder was given such enormous control, unless his wife is like a major, like Kathleen Kennedy good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which I hadn't really ever heard of her, but that doesn't mean that she isn't a badass.
Well, and that could be. Those are the things that we don't know. You know, I mean, that's the thing. People might be taking a shit on him, but, he might still have a lot of influence. As far as things are concerned. And when he made that statement in that interview, I mean, Jeff Johns was standing right next to him. So, I mean, Johns is kind of the guy now.
He's not going to turn around and shit on his producer for
Fuck this guy.
Yeah,
but Jeff Johns will come out on Twitter like a day later and say, oh, yeah, look, you remember the thing about that? We're kind of still in the thing. Believe me, if Zack Snyder misspoke, they would correct Zack Snyder, believe me.
I think after June 2nd, all of this will change.
I think so.
Could be.
Once Wonder Woman's out,
if it kicks
all
ass,
bets are off. Yeah,
totally could be. Now, here's the second part of it. They say that Hollywood Reporter is reporting that they've got the inside scoop on who they want for the Flash movie. Their top choice,
the
director. Their top choice is Billy Crudup. No. I'm sorry. Their top choice. That's another part of news. Their top choice is Robert Zemeckis. Their second choice is Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah,
that does Kingsman. And their third choice, Sam Raimi.
I thought he said he didn't want to do.
I read that too.
I heard he was. I heard he was out the moment Kevin Smith said, "I'm in."
Money talks.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm sorry, the Billy Crudup thing. The reason I brought that up is Billy Crudup has announced that he's leaving the movie. He's out. He was cast as Henry Allen, Barry's father, but he's up the road.
In Justice League.
Yeah.
He's in Justice League. He's out of the Flash.
In the Flash solo movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Billy Crudup was... they were going to do the Flash solo movie, and they cast Billy Crudup as Barry Allen's father. Ezra Miller is playing Barry Allen.
So are they going to take him out of Justice League?
They may as well at this stage.
Because if they don't take him out of Justice League...
he was supposed to appear in Justice
League? You see him in the trailer.
Oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't even remember that. Just to show you.
If he's in if he's in Justice League but not in the Flash movie, then they've already taken a bite off of too much they can handle with alternate times, and they just I don't think they should. Don't do it yet. Do it, but don't do it yet.
Yeah.
Either that, or they could go with whoever the new actor is. This prison changes a man,
Okay.
A weird science play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm thinking it's the same old story. I mean, whether you love the movies from Marvel or hate the movies from Marvel, or you admit that they got great ones and they got shitty ones and all that stuff. Look, they come in, they have a plan, they execute. It still seems that Warner's walking around with their thumbs in their ass and they just don't know what they're doing. I mean, that's the impression I have. You don't hear any like catastrophic shit that comes out of here with Marvel. I mean, the only biggest controversy they ever had was the whole thing with Edgar Wright. But
Fantastic Four.
Well, I mean, but that's not MCU though. That's Fox.
Yeah.
And they're competing against the MCU. That's what they want to aspire to be. But I mean, the only big crap that you ever heard from them was Edgar Wright with Ant-Man. They plugged in Peyton Reed, and I mean, shit, that was a fun little movie. It's pretty decent.
Yeah, it was really fun.
There it is. All right, man. We got anything to add on the tale of two movies here, or what?
I don't have anything. You got anything?
No.
All right. Good times.
Hey.
Me either.
Hey, I will say this real fast, and I'm not going to go through the list, but like all the shows that got canceled, all the shows that made it through, and we were talking about Training Day.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Oh, of course.
Of course it had.
Yeah, I mean that's that's no shock there. I mean, when you lose the core star and the show isn't even into, like, if that show would have been on multiple seasons, I think they would have found a way to maybe continue it. But being in its freshman effort, and I mean, the guy dies into 13 episodes. I mean, I'm sure they showed the 13 episodes out of respect for Paxton, since it was his last work. But that's no big surprise there that it got canceled.
I have a question for you guys. Sure. Regardless of DC and Marvel's and Fox, if there was a graphic novel you want to see made into a film right now, what would it be?
A graphic novel
comic book.
I would want to see a proper version of The Watchmen done on Netflix. That's what I would want to see.
What about you, Scott?
I actually liked The Watchmen, the movie, the 3-hour Zack Snyder movie. I don't. You blew my mind. I don't know offhand.
Yeah, I want to see a true to form Watchmen movie made, and I want to see it stretched into a 12-episode, one-time maxi series and done. That's what I'd like to see.
Buyer?
That's a really good question. I would really like to see an Arkham Asylum movie.
That would be Dark Horse, not DC, right?
I believe so.
That's Dark Horse.
Okay. Or Vertigo, or it's all, but it's visually such a beautiful graphic novel that it's almost. I mean, if I were insanely wealthy, I'd probably have a room with just every panel of that on the wall. It's so beautiful. But for story, I'm interested, and I know that there's talk that this is going to happen as a. Well, actually, I mean, Sandman, I don't know if we consider that a graphic novel, but I would love to, especially...
There's been talk. Been talk.
Well, I know Gordon Levitt was going to do it, and then he backed away, and there was it was like the Everest of show ideas, but then American Gods is kicking such ass that I think that it could work. But a graphic... the other one maybe is Why the Last Man. I'd be really interested to see that one.
That's another one that was in talks for a long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's still a good possibility to be made. That was the whole... we went Shia LaBeouf, and then he jumped on Transformers, and they were like, "We don't want him anymore."
Yeah, fair enough.
What about what about you? What would you like to see made?
I have a list I can go down.
Why don't you just give me the top one
or the top three?
Top three. Give me the top three.
The top three. All right. Not in order of top three, but I definitely would like to see some more Valiant films, like Man of War, The Harbingers. You know, those guys.
Magnus Robot Fighter.
Yes. I think those would be dope. That would be one. The other one would be I'm really digging Chew right now. That's one of our locals, man. Chew is hilarious, and I think it would be really so the main character he's not telekinetic, but he definitely, whenever he eats something, he senses what that animal went through.
Oh wow! I'm about to check that out.
And it's hilarious. He's a local writer, it's an amazing book, but it's hilarious because this guy's just like wandering. He's a detective, and that's what he does. Like, he goes into restaurants, and then he finds out, like, when the first or second series goes into an Asian restaurant, he's like, wait, there's actually people in this food. You know, and he's sensing what they went through. So he goes into investigation. So it's actually pretty crazy, and it's pretty wild. But it's a great.
Something cuisine based would be based out in New Orleans.
Who would you cast in that role? Who would you cast as the main character?
Gilbert Godfrey, a younger version of Gilbert Godfrey.
That's fucking awesome. All right, I'm definitely
like
checking
a younger version
out.
of Gilbert Godfrey. Like the character's just really, really well written. My third, I would have to go with, for some strange reason, I've always had this great affinity with two, which were basically, they are Marvel DC, but they're kind of their own thing, is Bit and Max.
Bit
I
and
don't know either of that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with those.
Max was a storyline. It was actually Dark Horse, not DC. Storyline of this giant protector.
Didn't they do an animated series on that one?
They did.
Yeah, the Max.
The Max.
I remember that now.
Yeah,
okay.
And then Pit was like Marvel's version of it, where it's just giant protector that was more of a symbiote to this child that was going through all these different things. But I have tons of them I could pick.
Cool.
That I would love. 100 Bullets is another one. I would
Yeah,
love.
Yeah, that'd be good.
100 Bullets to me would be my Walking Dead.
Cool, man.
But yeah,
Cool.
I still think Scott has one. He doesn't want to say.
I don't have one. I don't.
No? You need to.
He wasn't
read
much
more.
of a comic guy,
Yeah,
were
I
you?
wasn't. I'm behind the curve or whatever the saying is.
behind the curve.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Hey, let's
Jeffrey
coin a
Wright.
phrase right now. Instead
There
of
you go.
jumping the shark, jumping the Easter egg.
There it is.
There you go.
I'll use that one for Scott from here on. All right, check out our previous episodes at ppvguys.com. Follow us on Instagram. Also, check us out on Twitter. Make sure that you jump on iTunes. Please hit subscribe. And look, man, if you could leave us a review, 5 stars from the 5-Star General. We want 5 stars on us. We want 5 stars on Scary Thoughts, and also not
Pedro, what do you want 5
Radio.
stars on?
I'm Chinese food.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, I agree with you there. Hey, just go down to Chinese Kitchen on Carrollton. You can hit close to 5 stars there.
There you go.
So, rock and roll. Hey, end scene.